Okay, how's it going, everybody? How the heck are you? Happy Thursday. Sorry for the late start today. I just had to shake off some of the stress of being on social media. Multiple apps, multiple accounts. But you know what? Let's take a break from the craziness of the real world and visit one of magic and time travel and just a simple story about a guy with spiky red hair who meets a nerd and a princess, a robot, a frog knight, a cave woman, and a wizard. It really is that simple. Welcome to both of you to being the first and the second first, Dan and Marius Thorup 12. How the heck are you? This is going to be the last stream that we do today. With Chrono Trigger, sadly. Very, very sad about that. Here's our goal, okay? Let me double check so that I don't screw this up. But the last thing that I need to get, last ending, is going to be beyond time. We need to revive a certain so-and-so. We can go ahead and... We can go ahead and not get Megas here. Now, I think this is still the standard ending that I usually get. I'm like almost positive it is. So the only real variation here is going to be not having Megas. But I just wanted that final farewell. I really did. I had to. It's Chrono Trigger. You can't blame me for that. All right, Maggie... Sit down. We're gonna have some words. Oh, we got to see his backstory. But hey, Dan, Marius, how are you doing today? Talk to me. I need it. I need to shake off the social medias and just talk. We can talk about whatever you want to talk about. Again, just like yesterday, I love my macro topics. I love the big high topics, whatever you want to talk about. The hot topics. Why, Hot Topic, the clothing brand stores. Once upon a time, they used to have these like little notepads up in the store, and you could actually write like on there. They would ask you what franchises or IPs would you like to see in the store, like on their merchandise. And, like, yeah, you're always going to see the super, the emo kids with their Nightmare Before Christmas and Invader Zim stuff. Studio Ghibli, understandable. The weebs go there, too. But I remember writing down Earthbound/Mother at one point. And they still, this was like 15 years ago, maybe. They still have not featured any Earthbound merchandise. Can you believe it? Oh, you got it. Okay. So that was my little spiel about Hot Topic. You got a new hot gaming take? Is it a hot gaming take or is it a gaming hot take? Because there's a difference. Probably still in there, QUE. It could be. It could be. I imagine Nintendo's pretty tight-fisted about that stuff. Okay, let's hear I want to hear, Dan. I'm going to challenge you. Okay, Dan. I want to hear a gaming hot take, and I want to hear a hot gaming take from you. Both. Give me two. You can do whichever one you want first. Here's a hot gaming take. When in Super Mario 64 you jump into the lava and he goes, ah! That feels appropriate. That's my hot gaming take. For a gaming hot take, a lot of people have confused my honest opinions with hot takes as if it being hot makes it dismissible. Like, a hot take is something only a provocateur says. But it's not really. I mean, a hot take can just be a regular opinion, wittily phrased, or an opinion that you don't like. One of my hot takes is that video games are work. There you go. They just happen to be enjoyable work. So there you go. A hot gaming take and a gaming hot take. To be purely, I'm often confused of being, accused of being pedantic. And there's proof right there. Enjoy. One of the great battle themes on the Super Nintendo right here. Yeah, Smash, how's it going? Welcome in, Smash. And I'm not saying video games, you know, feel like work. Okay. Let me, you got auto-modded here. Okay, I'm gonna say that one's allowed. So we'll let that one through. I just looked at it. Mole, you're confused for being pedantic? It's weird because, like, somebody will say something and you'll respond to what they literally said. And people would be like, you're taking words out of context. You're being pedantic. I'm like, I'm responding to what they literally said. You could ask me to make assumptions about what they said. Sure. But you know what they say when you assume. But yeah, Smash, I would say I'm not suggesting video games feel like work or that they can feel like work or anything like that. I'm saying they are work. And they oftentimes, you know, can feel like they're not because they're supposed to be fun, right? But think about it. Video games are basically, you know, what are games? Rule sets in which you have a goal and you must complete the task in order to reach the goal, right? So, like, say right now, the goal that the game sets for me is revive Chrono, right? Now, I actually have to manually move these digital characters across the screen and overcome specific challenges set within combat rules in order to reach that goal. That's basically what work is, essentially. And the game rewards you for that. The game has multiple endings for that. The game has an additional character for that. Anything skill-based is work. That's an interesting question. I'm not necessarily saying that because it's skill-based it's work, but I'm saying it's rules, challenges, goals, you know, and compensation. Rules, challenges, goals, and compensation. I don't know if skill is something, because, like, there's skill in art, to go back to art yesterday. You know, I wouldn't necessarily say that all art is work, but as an artist, I can tell you that some art is work for sure. I will get to your. I'm going to address your stuff, Dan. I swear I will. It was Lady D that hit the filter for some reason. Sports training. So sports is definitely work, right? Like, people have jobs. I don't think if you decide to play soccer in the front yard with your kids that's work. I don't think so. I don't know that play and work overlap entirely, right? I don't know that video games and work overlap entirely. But I don't think that needs to be the case in order to say that video games are work. You know what I mean? Like, they could be work and other things. If we're going to speak about, you know, was it the Venn diagram with the circles that overlap? Music is a good example. You certainly have to work at music in order to, you know, improve at it. I don't think you need to work in order to listen to music. Okay, let me, yeah, video games are actual work. Like, okay, so think about, like, grinding, right? That's usually what we would consider work in a video game, right? It's essentially still just playing the game and moving towards a specific goal, which is what the whole game is, but we've created a micro task within that game's rule sets with what may be an artificial goal that we've set for ourselves, namely, you know, increase the character's levels. So that feels like work, maybe because it's so repetitive, but on a broader scale, there's plenty of games that feel repetitive. And I think that feel is where the illusion drops that the game that you're playing is actually work. But anyway, that's a fairly minor hot take. Where the heck am I going? Okay, let me get to what Dan said here. I swore that I would. Let's see. I played Panzer Dragoon last night all the way through. Nice. Game is drastically overweight. It's meant at best for a hot gaming take. My kid, someone that really look like might be trying to chase her for a date. Oh, okay. Is it like with the pale skin and like the undead veins and all that too? Because you gotta have the whole package here. Okay. All right. Such a funny conversation. Let me adjust something here. Okay. Yeah, Panzer Dragoon. I like Panzer Dragoon. I don't think it's, one of the best games on the system. It definitely comes across like a first game type thing. This part always makes me incredibly sad when you're asked to shut off the news so that he can sleep beyond the flow of time. Okay, we need to climb Death Mountain first. Oh no, we gotta go to get the time egg first. That's right. And then we go to Death Mountain. Whoops. Trying to look at the chat. So we're kind of warm gaming take. Oh. What is a warm gaming take? It's like moderately spicy. Only like a little bit. Just a dash of Tapatio. PC engine, multi-tap, and Saturn controller dismantled and prepped so I can set them out in the sun to warm. Okay. So like temperature warm. Experiencing them in Returnal, I'm going for the true ending, which is requiring me to find several fragments before beating the final boss again. Since it's roguelike, that means still a lot of replay. Oh yeah. Yeah. I mean, presumably you like living pale goths, though. That's the thing. I mean, she's an undead character, right? I think that's the big I think that's the big clincher. Right, that's the big deciding factor. Where's that healthy kid with a radical haircut? I love it. Okay. So Smash, you're playing Returnal. So let's take Chrono Trigger for an example. Obviously, I love Chrono Trigger. I don't think that Chrono Trigger is a grind. I don't think that Chrono Trigger is boring. Some people do. But that subjective feeling isn't really important here in defining a game as work, I think. What we're doing right now is we're trying to get every ending, right? So we've set a goal for ourselves. We have to accomplish certain things within the rule set, within the challenges created by the game, all that jazz. And I think there's certainly an element of that's work. A couple of these, like grinding Lavos battles over and over again. There's definitely a couple of these that are absolutely, felt like a grind. We're like, I can't believe I have to fight Lavos again. But that's what you have to do. And I'm not saying that work is merely obligation, because work can be incredibly satisfying. Even say some people have taken that hot take to be like, oh, so you're saying games are boring. No, not at all. Not at all. There's some real work that is incredibly satisfying. When I was a teenager, I worked on crafting bonsai, and we would sell them at local markets and stuff like that every once in a while. And that's work. I mean, you're actually working on, horticulture, gardening, stuff like that. Building something with your own hands, like a doghouse or a tree house, that's work. And then certainly getting paid to do work as an adult. There's an element of that's incredibly satisfying as well. Unique side quest content. Oh, masking the grind toward fighting Lavos. Absolutely. Yeah, I definitely agree. That's so like I've met a lot of people who will struggle with the Black Omen and struggle with the Lavos fight immediately after Chrono, bites the bullet, but they don't necessarily realize that what's actually happening is they're skipping a ton of endgame content. The game isn't super clear about that. Gaspar gives you some hints, of course. And I think a lot of older games, too, will emphasize you needing to go and do the exploration yourself. Get out there and see what's around you. And so that's how you would naturally find some of the late game side quests. Okay, we should be able to get the Poyozo dolls now. Let's see. The irony of finding the power to restore life on Death Peak. Hey, there is no Briton here. How's it going? Been a while since it has been a while. I do recognize your name. I've been okay. How about yourself? Thanks for coming on back. What were we playing the last time you popped in here? I don't know if you can remember. I can barely remember what I ate for breakfast. Never mind, you know, any of that. Oh, we still need to do the Norstein Beckler, the Tent of Horrors. So he won't even give us the clone without, or give us the dolls without having the clone first, which makes sense because you wouldn't want to climb all the way up there and be like, I forgot the clone. So essentially it's work as instrumental to something else, like towards a goal, and reward whereas leisure is a goal in itself. I think that's super insightful and super accurate. Third strongest mole. And let me provide an example. I watched this video not too long ago about the I think it said the gamification of our hobbies. So it was like, remember when you were younger and you just like read a book to enjoy reading a book, or you went for a walk or a run to enjoy doing those things, or you did skateboarding to enjoy those things. Whereas now we're living in a society that's more geared towards you capturing those moments and putting them up on social media, or using them as content, or God forbid you're one of those people that do, you know, those live blogs where you're constantly welcoming people into your private life. That to me is horrifying. But all of that is sort of geared towards gathering these points, you know, these popularity points and followers and subscribers, and all that sort of thing. So I think that in a way we've kind of taken a lot of leisure activities and turned them into work in an artificial way. So, for example, I was really conscious about aura farming. Yeah, I was really conscious recently about learning piano again. It'd been a long time since I'd owned one. So I was proud of myself. I was happy to play piano. It was fun. And I didn't have anybody else there with me. It was just me learning piano again and enjoying playing piano. But the thought occurred to me like, hey, I could mic this piano and I could record myself playing piano, and I could open a TikTok of me learning piano. And then I thought, I am trying to turn this into work. And I actually had to stop myself and just enjoy playing piano for the leisure of playing piano. Enjoy learning. Right. Now, earlier I had said that when you're practicing music, that there's an element of work there for sure. But I think realistically both is great. Venn diagram again. Let's see. Oh, I don't know that I have enough silver points. So because this is New Game Plus, so we're gonna go get some silver points. But yeah, I think going back to your comment, Sarge, I think that a lot of games are really good at masking the grind, masking the work. Some better than others. Terranigma, maybe. Okay, so I've actually never played Terranigma, so we know it wasn't that. I'm not sure what it could have been. It was a Super Nintendo RPG, though. I mean, we're both asking for maybe too much with memory here. Hobby and side hustle interchangeably, yeah. And that's fine. I think that both those words could be used interchangeably, but you could definitely suck the fun. Well, certainly, let's say we could suck the leisure out of a hobby by trying to, you know, turn it into an internet popularity contest. That'll definitely suck some of the fun out. And I was conscious of that in the early days of when I started writing video game critique. I was like, okay, if I cross this line here, am I going to take away my ability essentially to enjoy video games because I'm constantly thinking about them critically and how I'm going to write about them. And that's occasionally been the case, especially if I've taken on press keys that I didn't really want to play. I'd rather be playing something else. But in the video game writing sphere, there's absolutely an unspoken rule that you, or a sentiment rather, that you're supposed to treat the small press keys as stepping stones to the larger stuff. So, hey, if you want to review Final Fantasy 16 day one, with a press key, you got to start with all these indies that, nobody cares about, not the non-darlings. And eventually I kind of gave up on that approach. Okay, it was definitely an SNES RPG that wasn't one of the big faves everyone has, like Chrono Trigger or Final Fantasy. Okay, so 7th Saga. Oh, that is a long time ago. I did play 7th Saga a while ago. I wound up liking 7th Saga, but I would absolutely not hold it against... Oh, hang on. Oh, this is different. I forgot about this, because last time I got the clone early. This time he's giving a challenge. So you could get it for free now. I did not realize that. Oh, it's fun to do this with a different character. I better not speak while I'm trying to do this. Hey, first try. 7th Saga is a pretty unique game. Yeah. What were we asking about? Oh man, these conversations they're hard to follow because sometimes I'll have multiple conversations going simultaneously. I'm sorry. I apologize. It probably was an ad that dropped in the way or something dumb like that. All right, here we go. Got the clone. I'm a clone. All right. Now we can go rescue Chrono. I always feel a little choked up when we go and visit Chrono's mom, and she's like, make sure he's behaving. And you just don't have the heart to tell her. Chrono is... Okay, on to Death Peak. Oh, no, not on to Death Peak. I keep getting the order of things out of order, actually. So at the start of the stream, though, we were welcoming both gaming hot takes and hot gaming takes. So if you're here in chat, and you could hear the mellifluous sound of my voice, please share with us a gaming hot take and a hot gaming take, because I would love to hear it. I really would. The Party Rooster, how's it going there? The Party Rooster. You were just gonna say that? I was getting stuff out of order? I don't know. Oh, the last game. Yeah, okay. It was 7th Saga. I guess. Maybe. I think it was under the name The Heartful Dodger. I've seen both of these usernames then. Okay. Fit a horror project you worked on. So did that project ever wind up coming to fruition? And Rooster, welcome. I do not recognize your username. Maybe I should. Are we familiar with each other? Do you know my whole shtick? Because I've got a spiel. I've got a little introductory spiel. So if you need it, let me know. But thanks for being with us today. This is our last... Wait, what happened? This is our last... No, we got the clone. Oh, we gotta go to the house and get it. Darn it. Okay, so... Playing through this game and actually reading the dialogue is a very different experience from not reading the dialogue while playing through the game. even though I've beaten this like 24 times. But talking while I'm doing it about completely different topics, I have no idea where the heck I'm going sometimes. Okay, so we have talked before. I gotta pick it up. What a dummy. I can't believe I made that mistake. But I'm glad you're here, Rooster, here at the end of all things. We are at the end of Chrono Trigger. This is the last ending that we're gonna pursue, and that's it. That's the end of the game. So, a couple more things that we could try is getting, you know, up to level 99 to fight the pink new, but honestly, it's not gonna happen. There's just no way. So I don't feel like doing all that grinding. I appreciate that, Roosty. Backseat gaming is it's rough. I mean, I appreciate a tip every once in a while. I really do, especially if I'm super stuck. But I have had some people come into chat and just be like, oh man, like, hey, turn left here, go right there. You know, that's a stop sign, pull up, you know, and just like, do you want to play the game? Because I'm trying to play the game. Especially, and I'll say this, especially if it's a game that I've never played before and it gets into spoiler territories. That's where it doesn't feel the best. Okay, unpopular opinions. Okay. Project's still being finished, but only a writer, so most of the work came after mine. Oh, got it. Okay. Hey, if you're ever around and that project does come out, feel free to let me know. I'll take a peek at it. But yeah, hot takes. If you've got a hot take, share it here. If you've got a gaming hot take, share it. If you've got a hot gaming take, share that as well. Let's see. Hot take, more gaming confession. My favorite game of all time is Tactics, and I hate that you pre-ordered the remaster. Or like remake culture, reboot culture. I feel like a hypocrite. Well, here's the thing, too. I feel like, and I'm going to come to your defense here. I feel like remake culture and the need for remasters are two different things, right? So, like, I think FFT is definitely getting a remaster. What I don't want to see is something that goes full on into remake, where they're remaking it every single gen. You know, it's like, I just bought this kind of thing. So, like, it's been a long time since they released this thing. Modern Persona sucks. That's your hot take? No, we need now we need hot gaming takes. That's a little different. Bought the final form for the first time recently. It's a lot of grinding. You're getting those 30 seconds later. Oh, the comments. Yeah. Now I'm like, final form, I don't even remember what we're talking about. Okay, we got the clone. Do the thing. There we go. Yeah. And like I commented, you know, Square Enix has always been that way where, well, not always, but in recent years they've been that way where they're like, hey, you know, chase the carrot and we might give you more stuff. I was like, how about you just believe in the legacy that made you an icon in the first place? You know, sell me Final Fantasy Tactics. Don't make me sell you Final Fantasy Tactics. You know what I'm saying? But I think Tactics really hasn't been released all that often. It's been a while since it got a re-release. So I'm happy with that one. To come to your defense, Britain. Yeah. Let's see. Hot gaming take. Fire bosses in Mega Man are hard. Yeah. Yeah. Here's a hot gaming take. Fire levels in video games are typically better than ice levels. I'll say it. I'll say it. I'm on record. This makes me incredibly sad right here. This creature sleeps beyond the flow of time. Why couldn't they have saved Balthazar? Balthazar, sorry. Excuse me. Oh, Sarge Smash, you couldn't resist being nice about it in the end, ultimately, it looks like. Here we go. Poodoo-zoodoo. Which is, you know, like that. Okay, we're just going to camp here for a second. I love it. A hot gaming take. That's oh no. In every Final Fantasy, Ifrit is inevitably a worse summon than Shiva. I'm trying to think if there's any exception to that. And you mean worse isn't just like less damage, or how do you mean worse? I want to know your schematics. But I love that one. That's a good one. That is really funny. Yeah, I don't like that they couldn't save Balthazar. I don't. Like that kind of stings to me. It doesn't feel great. It does not. Okay. You know what? Time to mix things up. Frog Knight, Robot Cave Woman, best game ever. Now, Balthazar, of course, responsible for quite a bit in Chrono Cross. So, I don't know. You messed with Chrono Trigger, who knows what would happen. Oh, I like thematically weaker. I like that. Interesting. I feel like sometimes it looks less cool, which if we're talking about Final Fantasy, let's be honest, coolness factor is a huge part of the discussion, right? Alright, solved. Imagine if this game had summons. That would actually be pretty neat. It'd be neat if Magus had wound up being like a summoner. Because he was trying to summon Lavos, right? I remember playing Final Fantasy VII the first time. Literally cooler temperature. Yep, it writes itself. Honestly, it really does. Oh, big bad baby. These things look like such a kidney stone, man. This, oof. Gaming hot take. Lavos spawn looks like a kidney stone. Prove me wrong. Oh no, spikes. Lavos spawn. Oh yeah, no. And that's why I will so here's my take on streaming too. Like I will disagree with anybody in chat. I'm not super keen on I've seen some streamers, you know, invite conversation and then just agree with everybody. I'm like, come on, like, have a little backbone. But, but you know, like, I gotta remember to equip another weapon other than the Masamune. But yeah, if I'm gonna welcome open discussion, which I do all the time, I will decide if I agree or not. So, the door is open, welcomingly. And fortunately, you and I agreed today. Now, as for the notion of Magus being a summoner, I think that would have been pretty rad. But I don't know if there was enough space left on this game to afford that. As remember that Chrono Trigger was originally designed for CD-ROM, and then they backtracked and had to actually, well, Rage Band might be it. Let's see. Frenzy Band, there we go. They had to start shrinking it down in size. Are you against opinions when it keeps you sharp? Oh yeah, no, you definitely should. Definitely should. Lavos, what would Magus summon? Third strongest Mole asked. Lavos is exactly what he would summon, because that's what he does in game. Now, What would he summon? I mean, there's a range of mystics and the undead and all kinds of things at his control. Like, they could have absolutely had elementally aligned mystical creatures that he could have summoned, similarly to Final Fantasy. Could have absolutely been the case. I can't jump down here. CT and Secret of Mana had already spit. Secret of Mana was meant to be CD. So, the tough thing is there's a lot of kind of shared development, quote unquote, right? Like going all the way back to Mario Island, splitting with Mana, playing around with notions of Final Fantasy VI and the dev team from Final Fantasy VII. It's kind of a Herculean effort that they went through. Now, as to where I read that Chrono Trigger initially started bigger and they trimmed it down, that would probably be in reference to concept rather than to literally this is Chrono Trigger, right? At the same time, I wish I could tell you where I read that exactly, but I did a lot of research on this game over the past year or so, and I cannot remember off the top of my head what piece of information was. Likely able to be discovered on Chrono Compendium, since that's such a resource. But there are things that aren't scanned or uploaded to Chrono Compendium as well. So hard to say. Let's see. We'll go ahead and save here. And why not? We'll use a shelter. There we go. Right, exactly. And so I think, I think you're accurate to mention that here. I think what I should have clarified is the Chrono Trigger concept, or the concept that eventually became Chrono Trigger, seems like the most accurate way to phrase that. But it is a huge mess. It's a massive mess. You weren't going to have a book ready to publish for this year? What are you an author? Now, you said you and I have interacted before, so maybe I know you under another guise as an author. Easy peasy. Got him. Okay. Be careful, it's slippery. No, they said be careful, it's slippery. Oh yeah, the early Kato artwork is pretty bizarre. It's interesting to see what might have been. I want that RPG to have been made as well. I want whatever wild game they were planning with Kato's art to be a thing as well. I'm gonna write a big old Chrono Trigger book for the 30th after I was disappointed at my 25th anniversary article. Okay, so who are you? Now, how do we know each other? What other username are you under? Because you and I have had to have spoken previously. A big old Chrono Trigger book for the 30th would be awesome. Might be more than Square's doing with the property. This is such a cool team. Ayla, Frog, Robo. They're just cool people. I see you later. Not in that Discord anymore. Oh, okay. The Pixels Discord, or you weren't in that one at some point? But yeah, shoot me a Discord DM. I'd be happy to talk with you. Push the shell, climb the shell. Okie dokie. There's a thing down here. Frumpy with a Dumpy. I think I remember that name too. I may know you by just multiple different names, thinking you were all different people. It's tough with usernames too. I obviously, you know, people should use usernames. I'm a big advocate for maintaining your privacy, but yeah, it's hard to remember who's who sometimes. You entered the lottery for the concert? Oh, cool. They don't also pay for your like plane ticket and room and board, dude. It's just for the concert ticket. I'd love to attend something like that. It's completely out of the question for me right now, unfortunately. So I look forward to the low-res camcorder video that eventually they'll upload and put on their YouTube. That's the only way I'll be able to watch it. Hey! There we go. Okay, yeah, Frumpy with a Dumpy, you were in the Discord, weren't you? If anybody want, you know, as long as you weren't like banned or whatever, you're welcome to be in the Discord. I frequently will, you know, minimize the Discords that I'm in as well, so I get it. But it's an open invitation. If anybody wants to be in the Discord, you're perfectly welcome to. Everything else is on you. Okay. Hey, I hope you win it. I hope you get to go. That sounds like an unforgettable experience. What else has Square Enix mentioned for Chrono Trigger? I could have sworn they had an announcement earlier about things beyond the world of the game, if I remember that phrasing. Okay, you weren't banned. No, and I get it. Leaving them now and then. Typically what I find is I accumulate Discords over time. People will send me invites. Sometimes I'm like genuinely interested in being in their Discord. Sometimes I'll join the Discord because I kind of feel sorry for them. I admit it. But if I find myself in like 50 Discords, I can't be in all of those servers active daily. I just can't. So periodically, every 6 months or so, I'll kind of go through and be like, you know, I don't need to be in these anymore. This is really unfair to the clone. Nobody asked the clone how he felt. Oh, Rooster, you know what? I want to ask you a question. This popped up recently. I want to ask you a question about Melchior. Maybe a couple of different questions. You seem like you're pretty versed in Chrono Trigger. And the same thing goes for anybody else who hasn't really addressed this yet in the chat. Or if you have and you're interested in chiming in, whatever. This is an ongoing topic. Is there a good reason why Melchior did not recognize Chrono in the present? When in the present, that was Melchior's second meeting with Chrono, whereas in the Dark Ages, it was his first meeting with Chrono. In the present, it was Chrono's first meeting with Melchior, but in the Dark Ages, it was Chrono's second meeting with Melchior. Also had a glitch on a DoorSport app, even silences channels. Oh, yeah. No, leaving Discords. Perfectly understandable. So yeah, the question is just generally, why does Melchior not seem to recognize, or for all intents and purposes, it looks like he straight up just does not recognize Chrono and crew at all. He recognizes the amulet, so we know he's got memory. He can remember very specific details about forging the Masamune, or reforging the Masamune rather, about where Dreamstone is located, all that sort of thing. I've heard people mention that he was pretending to not recognize them, and that's certainly possible. But it seems like, why would he do that? Somebody could say, well, he wanted to prevent any issues with the, time paradoxes and stuff like that. But I think that assumes two key things: that he has that level of working knowledge about how the timeline works and temporal mechanics work, as well as an understanding of what our capabilities are as Chrono and crew. So if he doesn't know those two things, I don't know how he could presume to believe that it would be the right thing to do to not recognize them. You know what I mean? Or the three wise men, not for the three gurus, right? So you remember from Chrono Trigger, and then it's Christmas time, and you're like, we three kings of Orient, and you're like, wait a minute. Okay, so this is a fairly interesting answer, and nobody's really approached solving this question in this way. But I guess I'm not convinced that there's an original timeline and then there's a revised timeline, but that the timeline just changes. So from that perspective, there's only one timeline, but that it has specific changes, right? So it's not like once you defeat Lavos, it's a new timeline. It's the same timeline. It's just that Lavos did not destroy the world anymore. Because then I guess if you're going to say the original timeline was revised to be the second timeline, still when you go back to the fair and talk to Melchior, I'm going to test this right now. When you still talk to Melchior in the present after revising the timeline, he still does not recognize you. Darn it, I always get that backwards. Oh, Christmas carols have entered the cat. Where have entered the cat? You look at your cat and they're just like, God rest ye merry gentlemen, let nothing you dismay. Meow, 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 meow. I love Christmas. Sorry. So yeah, that would be like, we could test that theory, right? Like if we do revise it, let's see, he's going to be at the fair still, right? If we do revise the timeline, then he should recognize us now, right? He's not here. He's not going to be at his house. Where? Oh, you meet him later for the Rainbow Shell quest. Let me see here. See if he's home. Hello? Right. We would have to look for any inclination that he recognizes us from the distant past, right? So it's not like, hey, I remember you were the weirdos that brought the sword. But it's like, whoa, thanks for meeting me 40,000 years later, however many years it is, right? Chat, not cat? Yeah, it's trying to talk too fast. Caroling cats would be cool. Now, it doesn't really say much other than something cryptic. But yeah, I don't know. I guess there are two possible ways you could look at that. I am unsure if there's any way to test either theory, right, of how time travel in Chrono Trigger works. I'd always taken it, again, as it's a linear timeline that once changes are made, the timeline, doesn't essentially create a new timeline. It's just sort of as if it always been. And the question is then, if it had always been, why don't you get... But then you get into time paradoxes. It's a tough question, right? Now, one of the things that is hinged on, and here's kind of the second question, is when Magus is shown his memories, or Magus tells us his memories of himself as Janus as a child, and the three gurus being sucked into 4 different portals and being thrown through time. When does that scene take place? Does it take place before or after we try to stop the Mammon machine and throw the ruby knife into it, creating the Masamune? I think it's before. Not to color answers here. What am I doing? Where am I going? Oh yeah, we gotta be at Lavos now. That's right. I forgot. One tough thing to... Does it matter? Does anything matter? Sarge Smash? Does anything matter? We're going to get, like, existential here. No, yeah, it matters in that having a conversation between friends is good. I think so. And it matters in that talking about time paradoxes is fun. But it doesn't matter in, like, a life and death or a cosmic sense. Very few things do. Well, I know. I just wanted to pick on you. I'm not going to read this. Gurus are scattered in the OT without our involvement. I have a slightly different theory. Okay. We're on the similar pages. Oh, you already. I can confirm. Easy to pick on. The gurus are scattered in the OT without our involvement. I don't know that that's possible, though. Because how could Melchior have arrived at the Ocean Palace to be thrown through time unless Chrono and crew frees him from prison in Mount Woe? Right? Because we didn't have any like, we didn't cause him to be imprisoned in Mount Woe. So presumably, without the causation of Chrono and crew, he would have been in Mount Woe and stayed there. Unless, you know, of course, we're going to beg some kind of omission or something. Like, the game doesn't tell you how he escapes. Obviously, you could always say that. But, you know, without us saving him from Mount Woe, how does he get out of Mount Woe in order to appear at the bottom of the Ocean Palace in order to be sucked through time? So that's where I think, again, there's like... Because this game definitely does play around with notions of predeterminism, destiny, the entity. So if you take that line of thinking, then all the events in Chrono Trigger are sort of predetermined so that we always were in the past doing this, right? He wasn't imprisoned without the prophet. Oh, because the prophet is the one who tells the queen to go? It's not just a theory. It's a game theory. See, now that I don't remember. The prophet is the one who convinces the queen to send away the gurus. I think you may be right, though. So, Magus then is remembering memories from a timeline that was revised. That was something I was told. Right. I take the stance more towards that they were doing things as they were meant to be done. Especially, too, from a meta perspective, like, Chrono Trigger is designed to follow a plot on rails, essentially. I mean, you get to the end game stuff, and there's some loosey-goosiness, but it's not like you have total freedom within this context anyway. And given the introduction of the theme of the entity and some element of being meant to, I think that Chrono Trigger leans heavily towards those themes of things being predetermined. Cinco, how you doing today? We're having one of those high conversations that you love so much. It's so great. I love every single day. Can I just say this? Every single day this week, you folks have showed up and brought some really awesome conversational material, and I highly appreciate it. It's wonderful. Okay, let's see. Have not played Chrono Trigger enough to even grasp some of these concepts. Also sounds like I'm in a world religions class. Yeah, I mean, they're definitely talking about subjects that would overlap with some religious ideas, for sure. Oh, absolutely. So, like, case in point, I'm reading Crime and Punishment right now. Like, Raskolnikov is always going to do what Raskolnikov is always going to do every time I read that book. Every time I play Chrono Trigger, Chrono is always going to bite the dust. Now, again, that's in a meta sense. I don't think that that has any influence on the themes of the game. But it's very fascinating to try and think about Chrono Trigger as an original and a revised timeline. Then in multiple instances of revision, right? Because you got multiple endings. As well as potentially a game in which everything is predetermined to happen as we're seemingly exploring time willy-nilly. Last time we fight Lavos, ladies and gentlemen. Last time. Enjoy it. That means we start a new RPG tomorrow. I hope a lot of you come back for that one. Should be a good time. I am still not exactly sure what we're going to do. But we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. I like using Dino Tail, even though it's not that great. It's okay. So-so. How? Don't ask me how. I don't know. I have no idea how. Yes, lower Ayla's life. You must do this. 'Tis in the prophecy. Yeah, sure, we'll do Dino Tail again. Secret of the Stars? Yes. Yes. I want to get an actual, like, physicist in on this discussion at some point. Like, let's talk quantum mechanics and time travel and revised timelines and all that jazz. There's a book right there, Rooster. There's a book right there. The Mechanics of Time Travel and Chrono Trigger, with academics weighing in on the discussion. I would read the heck out of that. Better yet, make it an accessible YouTube documentary. So good. So 24 episodes of Chrono Trigger. We have spent around 48, 50 hours, probably over 50 hours here in Chrono Trigger, trying to get everything. We still didn't get absolutely everything. I typically think of Chrono Trigger as a really short game. I think certainly to beat it once, it is a very short game. But you could get quite a few hours out of this thing. The Japanese version of Chrono with no subtitles? Well, I've got it. I've got it. So we could... I don't plan to, but we could play Chrono Trigger in Japanese and see how far I can get. We just have to rely on memory, which, as you've seen in this playthrough, is not very good. My memory is fairly poor. Oh, you got the CRT. Nice. Did you know, here's a fun workaround, if you want to play a Super Famicom cartridge on your SNES, you can cut out the little tab inside the Game Genie and use the Game Genie as the through line from the NES to the SNES to the Super Famicom cartridge. And I recently told somebody this too. They said, I really want a CRT, but I don't want to spend too much money. I really think you should hop on, if that's you should hop on Facebook Marketplace. Look at local listings, Craigslist maybe. I don't use Craigslist, so I can't really vouch for that. But the last 3 CRTs that I've owned were all free because people just want to get rid of these things. They're enormous, you know? Absolutely enormous. A Spanish book about the mechanics of time travel in CT, eh? It's too bad that, where's our friend Dean from Video Game Library? It's too bad that's not in English. Beating near once, you're going to miss most of the game. Oh, yeah, for sure. This is, it's meant to be played and replayed, for sure. You know, it coined the term New Game Plus. So there it is. Short videos on learning Japanese with Chrono Trigger. Yeah. Yeah, I remember borrowing a bunch of books on Japanese as a kid. There was a lot of opportunity to use Japanese growing up in Hawaii, but sadly, I didn't put in enough time into it, enough practice, and wound up losing a lot of the knowledge that I'd gained in a short period of time. Yeah, you could be savage and break the tabs in your SNES. So I remember learning about that when I was like 8 or something like that, talking to a guy who was selling Super Famicom stuff in Hawaii Kai. It was a really nice area of Oahu. And I was thinking that I was essentially defacing the SNES. And I'm sure my mom would not have been happy about that. But I didn't want to harm my SNES. Like, I'm the guy who's got the yellowed SNES, and I'm just like, it's gonna stay yellowed, cause now it turned into gold, you know. So yeah, if you don't want to break the tab in the SNES, you can use a Game Genie. Cheaper, easier to come across one of those. Close, you could take the Game Genie board out of the plastic case and it's an adapter. You don't even have to open it up, though. That's what I'm saying. Hang on here. Hang on. You could take the Game Genie board out of the plastic case. No, yeah, you don't even have to do that. There's a little tiny tab in the Game Genie part where the Super Nintendo cart slides into. And you just snip that and you can use it as an adapter. So you don't even need to pop the whole thing open and have a loose thing without a case. You don't have to go that. That's above my pay grade too. I try not to do like too much of that stuff. I don't know really what I'm doing here, but yeah, figured it out with just a little bit of Game Genie snippety snip of that tiny little tab. Okay, so you did get the TV off of Craigslist. How much did that cost? Did they charge you for it or what? Marketing CRTs as expensive collector's items. Perhaps look using terms like old TV as opposed to CRT. Good. Yeah, I found the current one that I'm using. It's a Sony Trinitron. It was free. This thing's like friggin' 40 inches or something like that. And I found it looking up Tube TV on Facebook Marketplace. So definitely don't overpay for one of these. I mean, I wouldn't. You can find a lot of them for free in great working condition. Weird teenager. They're like, we'll just break this whole thing open. I mean, it's cool that works too. You know, if you wanted to get inside for whatever reason. Hey, you gotta do what you gotta do. Yeah, old TV, retro TV, tube TV, stuff like that. You could find some good deals out there. The only issue that I'm having with this TV, I really love this TV. I mean, it looks amazing in person. I really wish y'all could see it. But the issue that I have with it, and you could see it in the upper right and left corners, there's how is there a dinosaur here? There's oh, that's great. There's a little blurring and a little slanting there, so you know, I gotta put up with that. But other than that, I mean, it's free Trinitron, so I'll take it. Also kind of depends on your area, I'm sure. Like my hometown, probably barely any working left. But, you know, I'm in a major metropolitan area now, so easy to find. Oh yeah, we got game over video games here too. Can't believe this is the last time we're playing Chrono Trigger. I can't believe it. Like, how long do I have to wait? How long do I have to wait, theoretically, before it's, like, not poo-poo to play Chrono Trigger again on stream? You know? Oh, that was great that that's physical damage. Dude, Lavos cannot even handle right now. I should probably worry about healing, though, because he could hit me with one of those big moves. You know what they say? You gotta spend money to make money. Right? What was that from? Oh, I was playing Dungeon Fighter Online from Nexon, a Korean MMO. Great game. Oh, there we go. Sorry, Chrono. Ended. GG. G Game Strong. Rating with the party today. Thanks very much for the raid, G Game Strong. I appreciate you. How the heck are you? Hey, where'd you just came in at the exact right time here to finish watching the end of Chrono Trigger. So my name's Moses, aka the Well-Read Mage. That's so bright, flashy. Do not look at that. My name's the Well-Read Mage, and we are playing through every Super Nintendo RPG. I've got 9 left. We start a new one tomorrow. It'll be a mystery RPG. So come back for that. I'm at right here on Twitch and YouTube. We're playing every Super Nintendo RPG released in the West. It's great. It's so good. But yeah, mystery RPG tomorrow. Chrono finishes the fight with Lavas just like last time. Yeah, he's like he just had to get again. So I appreciate the raid though. What were you playing today? What were you up to? Uh-oh. He's gonna get it. Now we've played through Chrono Trigger in its entirety several times before. So I'm not reading the dialogue this time. We're on New Game Plus. We did get all 13 endings or whatever it is. So this ending is called Beyond Time. This is kind of the standard ending. The big difference is that on this ending, Frog will become human. So there's a I don't want to say too much in case anybody here is going to be sensitive toward spoilers or anything like that, but you know, you're playing Quartet. Nice. So I got to chat with the creator of Quartet for a little bit. Really nice guy. That looks like a great game. I haven't been able to play it myself. Our publication is going to be publishing a review on Quartet pretty soon. So keep an eye out for that. And that's at thepixels.com, the-pixels.com. Site is currently down right now. We're doing some maintenance. But Quartet looks great. Are you enjoying it? How's it going so far? How far are you into it? Give me the details. I'll take whatever you want to say about that. All right, let's go. And you can notice here too, if you haven't picked up on it yet, we named all the characters after members of the Dream Team. It felt right. Naming Chrono Akira after the late great Toriyama made a lot of sense, and it was touching too. In case you couldn't tell, we're also playing on original hardware. That's a TV you're looking at right there. It is not a filter. It's literally pointing my cell phone camera at the TV screen. Yeah, because I went the route of what is it called? The card, an Elgato. I went the route of the Elgato. Could not get it to work well. It was just a really unreliable piece of tech. So I was like, you know what? I got a camera. I got a TV. I got a game room. I just turn the lights off, point the camera at the TV, and there you go. Now, it's not perfect, you know. I try and get it as close as possible. Here, this is a bit darker, so like some of the contrast looks real high, but we do our best nonetheless. Okay, now I think this is going to be exactly the same ending. How come Melchior doesn't recognize us? He could be like, hey, thanks for saving me from prison, y'all. Nope. Straight up. Does not. He should definitely recognize us now. Like, absolutely should recognize us, because we done a lot for him. We've got to say our goodbyes. Play the sad music. Yeah, so we did already get this ending. I wasn't exactly sure, and I didn't want to miss it. This is, again, the Beyond Time ending. So this is the ending that you'll get if you revive so-and-so and you go through the Black Omen and you fight Lavos and do all the side quests. You get this ending. But the variation that we're going to get here is going to be on the number of cats. Whether we crashed the epoch or not, which we did not. And then Frog here turning human again. Oh, and Magus is not here. I mean, those things are mutually exclusive, so it doesn't, you know. Yeah, it's going to be one or the other. Now, if we do crash the epoch, you get them flying up in balloons, I believe, right? But then if you don't, then they actually take off in the epoch. Or you'll see it in the background, something like that. 20 hours in. Oh, you're probably almost finished, too. I imagine that like an indie RPG can't be that long. Especially like a turn-based one. I want to say like Secret of the Stars. No, Sea of Stars. Sorry. Secret of the Stars is what we might be playing tomorrow. Sea of Stars. Took me about 30 to 40 hours. I didn't get everything. There's a lot in there that you could get. But it seems 30 to 40 is a great sweet spot, both for retro RPGs and for indie RPGs that aren't going to be, you know, like open world and stuff like that. There's the one cat, because I only had one. You could apparently get up to 15 cats. Yeah, you like Sea of Stars? I liked Sea of Stars. I liked it okay. There was a lot that I didn't care for in the story. For the base game, I felt the characters were fairly poorly written. Some of that is corrected with the DLC, not all of it. But as far as a game to play, I think the combat system in Sea of Stars was pretty cool. Visually, obviously, visually and aurally, it's a really, really beautiful game. So, can't hold that against it. We can't get anything there. It was just checking. Yeah, I feel like if you're going to try and do everything, you know, depending on it too, like how good you are at the, what was their little, like steampunk board game called? Squares or something like that? You know, depending on your skill at that, that could take you a while to complete too. But yeah, that's kind of that same sweet spot. So again, like with Chrono Trigger, you know, easily 20 to 30 hours to complete, depending on how familiar you are with the game. And then 50 is, I think, where we're at. Wheels, thank you. Not squares, wheels. You could spend like 50 hours here. Now, if I wanted to get to level 99, that's pushing me towards 60 for sure. In order to unlock the pink new. So there it is too. Yeah, that's the other variation there that they take off in the epoch. If you didn't crash it. If you do crash it, then you float away on the balloons. Which, that's actually my favorite version. My favorite variation of this scene. I love seeing Chrono and Marley kind of float away on the balloons. Very romantic. Fireworks. All that jazz. Quite enjoyable. But my friends, that's Chrono Trigger. A game that, for me personally, has absolutely not overstayed its welcome. Even after playing it for 50 hours. It's still excellent. This is the ending you usually get, bar the frog becoming a human stuff. So you don't crash the epoch. That's a nice way to avoid having to fight the shell, but you don't have to. You know, the shell's fairly easy. I think those are the major variations. Let me check here. Okay. If you spared Magus, he'll appear. If not, you get to see Frog in human form. If you crash the Epoch, they'll float up on balloons. Otherwise, they take a trip in the ship. The number of cats is a variation. If you saved Luca's mother, she'll be standing up in good health during the final scenes when you rock around the fairgrounds. So that's another variation. If you saved the Chancellor, he'll show up in the throne room instead of Pierre. Oh, we did not save the Chancellor. That dude's rotting away in a in a treasure chest. Straight up. Oh well, I didn't like him. Nobody likes the Chancellor anyway. Let's see. If you didn't have a conversation with Robo about the entity after the sunken desert, Marley will mention she's convinced that some greater force wanted your party to experience these events. There it is. So there's multiple times in the game when they talk about this notion of a predetermining force of some kind, which they personify. So I think that's a core theme of Chrono Trigger. And yeah, yesterday when we got this, our ending yesterday, we're absolutely talking about how great this track is. Honestly, music, phenomenal. There's like 2 songs in this soundtrack that I don't care for. Overall, an incredible soundtrack. I'm not sure if there's another soundtrack where Mitsuda and Uematsu collaborated. I'm struggling to think of one. But this is a good one. It's really good. Yeah. I like the idea of the planet, you know, kind of being that. I don't think that there's any reason to think Chrono Trigger is monotheistic or anything like that. And it certainly would fall in line with other Square themes about the planet crying out, if you like. Especially since they shared a lot of the dev team with FF7. I mean, I've always said, you know, Lavos and Genovas should get married. You know, super similar concept there as well. Yeah, Cross is a really good soundtrack too. I think one of the strengths of Chrono Cross's soundtrack is the instrumentation. I really like that it sounds acoustic. I think that's awesome. There are more soundtracks, or there's more tracks on that one that I don't care for than in Chrono Trigger, but it's one of the best soundtracks on the PS1 for sure. There was a T Hori there. Yeah, not sure what happened with the Chrono Cross battle theme, but it's aight. It's aight. Well, there's really nothing left to do. There really isn't. That's gonna be it. So, tomorrow we're gonna be starting a new RPG, and it's been a while. It's been 24 weekdays, so it's been a month that I've spent on Chrono Trigger. It does feel like a long time for sure. We can go ahead and watch the intro while I'm talking here. Had to do that little reset trick on the controller. A month in Chrono Trigger is longer than I'd planned to spend on this game. But every time I replay through this game, I'm like, this is time perfectly well spent. It's been a delight to share that experience with you, especially with those who are not familiar with Chrono Trigger. I know the other day, we just had our new friend here from the raid. Psychotic Hamster mentioned not being familiar with Chrono Trigger. Just the other day, Mr. Temper, not being familiar with Chrono Trigger, you know, acknowledged that it's clearly one of the best on the system. I mean, I think that's really apparent, but classics remain classics for a reason. This is a game that still continues to speak to legacy fans as well as to new players, which I think is awesome. It's definitely got a long legacy ahead of it and a long reputation to continue to build. But it is sad to let it go after a whole month. But, like I said, we're going to have to start with a new game tomorrow. It's going to be... I'll probably pick a selection of 4 and then put it out there. Ultimately, I'll pick myself, but I like to see what people would have guessed. It's going to be... A step down is going to be rough. I hear that, yeah. It's going to be Secret of the Stars, Might and Magic 2, Ultima, I think the False Prophet, not Blackgate. I can't remember which one is which. Some of you Ultima fans may know. And I'll throw Paladin's Quest in there too, because I haven't played either of those 4. Now, the Might and Magics I've heard are pretty dang rough. False Prophet is 6, so what, Blackgate is 7? Okay. So it would be False Prophet first. So yeah, Secret of the Stars, Might and Magic Book 2, False Prophet, Ultima False Prophet, and Paladin's Quest. Not sure exactly which one yet, but I need to absolutely, balance out how many CRPGs there are left with RPGs from Japan, with JRPGs. So not super looking forward to it after all of the color and accessibility and delight and smoothness of Chrono Trigger, but that's the way it goes. You ride the tallest roller coaster at the theme park and nothing else is scary after that. So I hope that you come back tomorrow. Again, we're on weekdays, 1 p.m. Central. Thanks for popping in for this long journey through Chrono Trigger. I feel a little wistful right now. I really do. Hamster, thanks for the follow. I appreciate you. I hope you all have a great day. Again, I'll be on tomorrow. Until then, I bid you all a very fond farewell. Goodbye. And he slips on the one ring and disappears. Thanks again for the raid, Strong. I appreciate you. Let me pop you open here. I'll give you a follow. Everybody go follow Raid Strong. Go do the right thing. You send a raid over. You got to do the right thing. Support. All right, my friends. I'll see you later. Goodbye.